And welcome back to part 5 of what if Goku, Broly, and Raditz and Vegeta landed on Beerus' planet. Now, I didn't do this yesterday, mostly because something happened, personal situation, no one's hurt or anything like that. It was just really aggravating and it really put me in a bad mood. And I eventually got it sorted out, but I was just in such a bad mood that I'm like, I couldn't effectively do the video because I want to be in a bit upbeat mood when I do these things because it will show. It will show in my performance. It will show in my diction. It will show in my temper. It will show in my, it will show in everything. So everything's fine. We're basically just gonna muscle through a lot of videos today. I've got this what if. I got tomorrow's what if because the week of what if starts tomorrow. Got tomorrow's who would win. I've got the Pokemon team video. And I've got the box office report. I'll probably do the box office report, record that after this, because that's just easy. Have the stuff on the screen. I digress. Because we're in the final part of this series now. It's not going to really go much longer than, I don't know, what we're at, a minute? Maybe 10, 15 minutes at most. Because we catch up with the aftermath of the beginning of Super, really. Goku and Raditz have been training with Whis for a while Vegeta and Broly have been living on Earth. Now, when Beerus eventually shows up on Bulma's birthday, you can understand why it'd be a little tense. Now, why would he show up? Well, to be fair, Vegeta and Broly are still on this planet. He is interested in seeing their progression, as well as knowing Goku's progression and learning Raditz has actually, helping Raditz along with Ultra Instinct, because Ultra Ego, I should say. Ultra Ego. And now he wants to see what the other Saiyans have done. So they eventually visit on Bulma's birthday. And, Lord Beerus, it's good to see you again, sir. Indeed, sir. And I've been along with Whis, I've been helping your little friend Raditz here get a little stronger. I'd argue he's probably even surpassed you by now. Raditz, is that right? I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps we should test this theory. You're not the only one who's been growing stronger. And Broly's like, Broly, my boy, tell me, how have you been doing? I'm well, Lord Beerus. Really, how well is well? You gotten control over that massive power boost of yours yet? Some here and there. We've been practicing with other things. I'd look forward to testing that out. Of course, not here. No. No, I'm just here to visit my fun little pupils and little house guests. Now, Bulma's never met Beerus. I was like, who is this? This is Lord Beerus. He's the destroyer god of the 7th universe. He's honestly, we landed, and they explained the story. Like, she'd heard it before. She didn't realize this is the guy. And it's like, look, he may have barged in, but he's really, just show him some respect and he'll show up back. Because we really don't need the planet getting blown up, okay? All of us together cannot stop this guy. And so obviously they're chilling out parties. Oh, Whis, there's a mollusk in this. Oh, it's delicious. Ultimately, all's well that ends well. No one's really Earth's not in trouble in this version. And Beerus is about to head off, but before we go, perhaps a little spar to show me what you've learned. Very well, Lord Beerus, if that's what you wish. Trunks is also around, and they have Chi-Chi and Broly, their equivalent of Goten. Can even be called Goten? I'm not saying can't or can be. I'm just saying their equivalent of Goten. They have Gohan, that's for certain. And Gohan is dangerously powerful. Like, he is much stronger than his canon counterpart here. Because his canon counterpart at this point lost his limit release form or ultimate form, because he stopped training. But beyond that, it's because he's got his dad's DNA, and as I said before, Broly built different. So if he goes Super Saiyan 2 and even kind of rages out even further, like, his power probably has no ceiling cap, kind of like his dad's does. Difference is his dad has learned to actually control his temper and control a lot of his potential. Even the Super Saiyan form, over the years, he's gained control over base Super Saiyan. His full release Super Saiyan, no. Which is really begs the question: do we even think Broly could gain control over that? We know Kale did, and Kale is kind of a female Broly, but we also know she is not Broly. Like, and I don't mean that per se. It's like, of course she's not Broly. I mean, like, power-wise, she is clearly not Broly level. Whereas Broly's power is so great, it kind of overwhelms him to a great deal. So I don't know if you could ever see Broly really control that power. Either way, though, Beerus and Broly kind of like step up. They go Super Saiyan. Oh, it's like interesting. This is a different form than what I'm used to. It's nowhere near as impressive as the God training you've done, but it's something natural to use Saiyans, I'm assuming. Yes, we've learned to access this form and the several forms beyond it. They even show Super Saiyan 3 off. And Broly's like, I see you've gotten a little bit more control over your temper there, Broly, but would it really be enough to take me on? No. Oh, we don't think so. But we think this might be at least enough to impress you, Lord Beerus. And they power up, and their goldish blonde white hair turns blue, and they're showing off Super Saiyan Blue. It's like, I see, merging this new form with your God Ki. I will admit, that is impressive indeed. All right, then, let's see what you've got. And, they go toe-to-toe with Beerus for a little while. And Beerus like, even impressed, like, this, this is impressive. I'll give you that. But, just kind of like taps him and says, you still got a long way to go to be a match for me. And so, ultimately, they're like, but you've definitely shown some improvement. I'll give you that. All right, Whis, I think it's time for us to go now. Kakarot, Raditz, I think it's time you stay here and show a little bit of the fruits of your labor to your friends as well. And so, Kakarot and Raditz are now back on Earth for a while. They show off Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. And Vegeta's just like, you blast it all! Just when I think I've surpassed that idiot, he's done it again! And even Raditz? What is this form? I want to test this form, both of you. It's like, all right. And so Vegeta just tries to take on Goku, can never land a hit, and Goku just boom pops him. After a spell, he takes on Raditz, who is still able to dodge him, but you can tell he's more reactive, and their powers are a little bit more evened out. So he starts landing shots on Raditz, who just the best you've got, Vegeta. It's like, unlike Kakarot, my power doesn't involve the avoidance of attacks. Instead, it involves absorbing the attacks as I take them, adding to my own strength. In other words, the more you hit me, the stronger I get. So, he beats down Vegeta, who's now just pissed off. And so really, you would get, even if you tried to get Resurrection F, they would easily wipe the floor of Frieza. So let's just say that comes and goes. The Universe 6 tournament would also go very simple as well. What would happen ultimately, it would be Vegeta, it'd be Goku, it'd be Raditz, it'd be Broly, and probably, well, let's be fair, they get Monaka here. Goku would still go first. He would take down Batamo, get knocked out by Frost, whichever Saiyan takes down Frost or gets knocked out by Frost would reveal that he cheated, which reinstates Goku. Then it would pretty much go all the way to Goku versus Hit, but with Ultra Instinct, Goku would overwhelm Hit. So I think it's safe to say, and it's safe to say Goku would have won if Hit was allowed to go all out, because we know he gave up because Hit wasn't allowed to go all out. The Goku Black arc, though, that is interesting. And I do think it is the Goku Black arc, because Goku's the one who shows off a lot of the power aspects of showing off Super Saiyan Blue, even showing off Ultra Instinct. Now, he takes the body of a Goku that, had access to these abilities. We know he had Super Saiyan Rose, which was in essence his Super Saiyan / Super Saiyan Blue. There's clear divinity added into it, but whatever. Does he have access to an Ultra Instinct? The answer to that, I think, is a resound no. His personality can't match with Ultra Instinct. Goku Black cannot use Ultra Instinct. Which means when they comes back, they have their initial clash, and then they go back in time, or go forward in time. Goku shows up. There you go, he's going Super Saiyan Blue. They're clashing for a bit. And it would be Goku, Vegeta, and I want to say Raditz who goes. Broly stays, keeps an eye on everyone. Raditz and Goku together, go Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct. Unfortunately, Rose Goku, she's like, that's right. This is autonomous Ultra Instinct. But I've been wondering for a while, why am I unable to access this power? Tell me, do you have an idea there, Kakarot? It's like, because it's simple. You don't have the heart for it. It's like, oh, I believe my power should more than greatly surpass my abilities greatly surpass your own. No, I mean you literally don't have the heart for it. And he explains how Ultra Instinct's supposed to work, and it's just his personality cannot meld well with Ultra Instinct. Vegeta, who's not evil anymore, but is far more, I guess, is the closer of the two to Zamasu in personality, can't use Ultra Instinct because he just doesn't know how to relax in the same way as Goku does. He doesn't know how to just let his body move on its own. And so Goku and Vegeta are Goku and Raditz, look on. And now he looks to Raditz and sees the Ultra Ego. It's like, this power, though. This power may seem a bit more up my alley. I bet it is, but there's no way you'll be able to access it. Well, perhaps we'll have to see, won't we? And no, there is no way. Without the training for Ultra Ego, there's no way he could get Ultra Ego. But he thinks, all right, maybe it's a power-up or something. These Saiyans always get power-ups, but no. And so Goku is busy dodging Raditz, or dodging Zamasu, and then striking when he can. Then Raditz comes in and clashes, and they clash, and he gets sliced. He gets cut straight there, but then just blasts back Goku Black. Zamasu does show up, and they gloat for a while. The problem, however, is ultimately that they do not have a good way of putting Goku and Raditz actually down. Mind you, they don't have a good way of putting Zamasu down either. Goku Black he's got the time ring on him, but if they just blast Goku Black into smithereens, including the time ring itself, that should work. Because he can't really die with that time ring on. He just kind of has different versions of all over time. But if the time ring gets removed, then either way, Goku, they would eventually would because they're just stronger than Zamasu. Goku Black, we know, can get stronger through rage boosts, all that, but he actually can't overwhelm these guys. Now, they are starting to tire out a little bit because this is becoming a battle of attrition. And Goku Black is this, your power may surpass me for now, Saiyans, but you have to. But that being said, there's no way you will ultimately win. You see, your power has limitations. You're mortals. I am something beyond. And he powers up and he's right. We need to get out of here right now and regroup. And so they hightail it out of there. Vegeta gets healed up ultimately. Although it was a Dende. No, it would have been Whis, I think, who healed him up. They go question Zamasu. Ultimately, Zamasu gets found out and is killed by Beerus. And the long and short of it would be they would go once again. This time they know about the Mafaba to try to take him on. Unfortunately, I think they still forget the ceiling tag. And I think this is where you would see the fusion happen. Like the Supreme Kai show up, hand him the Kai earrings, and it's Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Instinct Raditz using together to create. Oh God, I think I've done this fusion before, but let's see, Raditz and Kakarot. It's Kakaroto. Ratato. Cactus isn't terrible. We'll go with Cactus. And so you get the melding of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego together, which looks kind of like the Gotenks does with when he's not Super Saiyan, because he's got some of Trunks' hair in there. Only it's silver mixed with the purple. And his hair is a bit longer. And so you really think he'll be able to stop it. By the way, what would that outfit look like? Raditz is probably wearing something, a mix of Gohan's gi, which is that purple one, which I've always liked that gi, by the way. Piccolo's gi. I've always liked that. Mixed with perhaps a little bit of his Saiyan, he still probably wears the Saiyan gloves, I'd guess. I don't know. It would probably look very similar to Vegito's outfit, I would guess. Maybe he's got a Saiyan tunic or something like that. But anyway, he's just there. And Vegito and Fuse Zamasu went toe-to-toe and were pretty evenly matched. Vegito was actually overwhelming him a good couple of times in that fight. It was just that he ran out the power on the fusion too quick. This would probably also do the same. But he's even more beyond Fuse Zamasu than even Vegito was. So there's a good chance he could actually wipe fuse, or actually cause so much power, actually, that would really all they have to do is break the earrings. We know Goku broke the earrings on Kale, or Kefla, and that defused them. So if he hit them with a strong enough attack and defused them, then they're not in a good way. So, and if they still remember how to do the Mafaba, which they should, then I imagine that one of the Kais being there should allow them to and say, "Oh, allow me," or Gowasu being like, "Just allow me," and just and Goku Black sees that his other self got fused in or sealed in. There's like, "You, how dare you!" And then finally, just Raditz, who's still an Ultra Ego, beaten to hell, but still an Ultra Ego. It's just there. It's like I've had enough of you. You're not my brother. You're not a Saiyan. You disgrace him. You disgrace my family. You disgrace my race. That's it. I'll be honest. I've never been one much for the Saiyan pride of the Saiyans. Not in the same way Vegeta is, but looking at you and then just. And you might be wondering how he did this. Well, he still got Ultra Ego. Even though he took a lot of damage, he still got it up, which means he's still got all that power. That just amped him up. And so you can just burn in hell and just annihilates him. And so the day is saved. That timeline is effed. Well, not completely effed. It's not wiped out, but that timeline is done. And they all go about their happy ways. Now, with the Tournament of Power, you would have a pretty different team, honestly. I mean, you'd still have Goku and Vegeta. That's obvious. But you also have Broly. You would have Raditz. There's no Piccolo here, but you'd have Gohan, who's, with his potential and the fact that he probably does still keep training off and on, or at least maintaining his strength, he is probably, close to a low-level Super Saiyan God in power, just based on his natural potential. I could see, that's 5. I can still see the humans being playing a factor in here, so you'd still get Krillin, TM, Roshi. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of kids that can participate per se. Although, you can still throw Trunks into the mix. I guess you could still throw them both. They don't know the fusion dance in this version, so that doesn't help. But they're still insanely powerful kids. But I think they might say, why don't we get Vegeta, Frieza and his dad? Or at least Frieza. And then maybe that gets filled out by Yamcha or something like that. So they actually are down quite a few people in this version, and the fighters they have aren't as strong as they used to be. Or they normally would be. So the tournament would happen, and because we're basically near the end now, and there is no Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Now, that being said, the Elder Kai might offer to unlock the humans' potentials, and they might say, well, we don't have the time for it. Just use the hyperbolic time chamber. You can get a full year's worth of training in there in just a year. It's of course. Should note, Kami. I never actually established if Kami's still the guardian of guardian of Earth or not here. And I think the answer to that is probably a yes. There's no real reason to bring Dende in, and we know Kami wasn't necessarily at the end of his life. There were times that it kind of seemed that way, but he could have lived longer. We know that. And Dende even brings up a point that Kami couldn't unlock potential because you need to hit a certain age to do that, like Guru could. So the fact that Kami is continuing to live longer and longer at this point, we don't know how old Kami would have had to have been. But for the sake of a fun little story, let's say Kami even says, I will also do you a favor and unlock any hidden potential that may be in there. So just they're doing every amp in the book they can, although Vegeta is a little against this at first. I don't want your help, Namekian. It's like, well then fine. Die embarrassing death for all I care. It's like, very well then. Now, I don't know how much of that potential would be left to unlock, but it would still work. And then then Grand Kai takes at least the humans in there for the unlocking. They train with a new power while they're in there. So you really could get quite a boosted human team that way. Although, I should note, I say all this now that I realize I never released the old guy from the sword. So never mind. Forget that. We can still do the Kami thing, though, so there's at least. But I just realized, crap, we never actually released him from the sword. Not in this version, we didn't. And so, yeah. You'd still get, I guess, at least the boosted humans. There's that, something with that. Frieza would come back, and they'd have their scuffle. Now, when he gets to the actual tournament, we'll just, not cut it short, but go to the highlights, the things that really matter here. Jiren versus Goku, Kakarot, the first round. And arguably the only round, because Goku has Ultra Instinct at this point. He's trained very hard with it for a good long while. So he probably has a perfected Ultra Instinct, and then his own variation, which is his stronger variation that is in the manga, which is, it's different. I can't remember exactly how it's different per se, but I do know it is different. And we know that honestly, Goku straight out won that fight. Like, he won that fight with Jiren. It's just that his time limit ran out on the Ultra Instinct, and it just wrecked his body. And Jiren was going to basically knock him out of the ring. But for all intent and purposes, he won that fight. So if they meet in the ring a second time around, Jiren going to lose. Or for the first time with this Goku, Jiren's going to lose. And they probably end up cracking the ring, blowing it up, but Goku does ultimately defeat Jiren. He's wiped after the fight, and everyone's moving in on him, but that's when like Broly and Gohan or Broly and Raditz come in to get his back. They would have to beat Hit, they'd have to beat Anti-Rod, they have to beat all of these guys. But the fact of the matter is, Team 7 would actually win without too much difficulty here. And I do think they would be smart enough to wish for the universes back. I do think that is legit. And then if we would get the Dragon Ball Superhero with Gohan, who probably does still marry Pan, I think. Not Pan. Oh, that's gross. Sorry. Videl. Pan's his daughter. Oh, that was bad. Still marry Videl. I might just take a little bit longer. That's all. The problem here is that with this story, they're all like Goku, like all the Saiyans hypothetically should be off world right now on Beerus' planet. That's what should be happening. I could still see someone sticking by just to make sure everything stays safe. I think the responsible one in that sense is probably Broly. Raditz, he's still learning more about his alter ego, still would probably be hanging out on that planet while Vegeta and Goku are, sparring it out. Broly being there to help out is probably the best scenario because he is probably the strongest one on the planet right now. Because Gohan does not have, again, it's never confirmed exactly how the transformation to Beast Gohan works, but the fact that he was in his ultimate form, his like full potential unleashed form, does seem to be an implication of how it worked. That he went further beyond that. But because he doesn't have that form, as strong as he is not as strong as he would be in the movie. Whereas Broly arguably is. In fact, he's probably stronger, especially if he just goes all out on Cell Max, which when that ultimately, awakens, him and Cell Max probably have a knockdown drag knuckle fight, just going toe to toe, eviscerating each other. Broly probably like maxes out his power, finally breaks the limiter, goes full on rage mode, just pulls him into space, just breaks reality more or less, just Cell Max gets annihilated before Broly's just like floating in space near dead. Before Gohan gets his dad, it's like, Dad, I got you. Go on, hey, did I win? It's like, hey, well, you won, Dad. Oh, Broly! Oh, my Broly! It's like, oh, hi, Mom. Don't worry, Dad's okay. It's, oh, Broly! It's like, hi, Chi-Chi. Sorry to worry you. What's for dinner? I can see that. Anyway, that is ultimately the end of this What If. I'll put up a poll when I'm done doing all the videos for what the other two suggestions for What Ifs are going to be. Keep your eyes out for them. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.